Here's something strange about discipline. The people who have it aren't necessarily forcing themselves harder than you. Their brains are wired differently. And that wiring wasn't something they were born with. It's something they built. And by the end of this video, so will you. You've been told that discipline is about willpower, that if you just wanted it badly enough, you'd put the phone down and start the work. That's a lie. And it's the reason you keep failing. Discipline isn't a feeling you're born with, it's a setting in your brain. And that setting can be rewired so that doing hard things actually starts to feel good. Get this right, and it changes everything. The work you keep forcing yourself to do slowly starts to feel automatic. Not because you found more motivation, but because your brain finally stopped pulling in the other direction. So in the next few minutes, I'll show you 3 things. Why discipline feels impossible right now, what dopamine is really doing behind the scenes, and 4 simple moves that retrain your brain to stop fighting you. Stay for the 4th move. Almost nobody talks about it, and it's the most powerful one. If you appreciate this type of content, gently tap that like button. Now let's get to work. First, let's kill the biggest myth. Your lack of discipline is not laziness. It's not a character flaw. It's biology. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Here's what's really going on. Every time you do something easy and stimulating, your brain gets a small hit of a chemical called dopamine. Checking your phone, opening a new tab, getting something sweet. Each one is a little hit, and it feels good. So your brain files it away as, do that again. Now here's the trap. When you flood your brain with cheap hits all day, you quietly raise the bar. Slowly, the small stuff stops being enough, and the meaningful stuff starts to feel flat by comparison, like studying, training, building something real. So you avoid it, not because you're weak. Your brain has just been trained to expect a constant stream of easy rewards, and the hard work can't compete. That's the trap most people stay stuck in for life, and almost nobody explains the way out. I'm going to. Let me paint you a picture. You sit down to study, full of good intentions. Within 30 seconds, your hand reaches for your phone. You didn't decide to. Your brain went looking for the hit it's used to. You catch yourself. You put it down. You try again. A minute later, you're right back on it. That loop is not a willpower failure. It's a trained reflex. Your brain is just doing what you taught it to do. And that word matters. Taught. Because anything you trained into your brain, you can train back out. That's the whole promise of this video. So let's talk about what dopamine actually is, because almost everyone gets this wrong. People think dopamine is the pleasure chemical. It's not. Dopamine is about wanting, not liking. It's the chemical of motivation, of anticipation. It's the thing that makes you crave a reward and then chase after it. Here's a quick way to feel the difference. Think about scrolling your phone late at night. You keep going and going, long past the point where it's actually fun. That's dopamine at work. The wanting keeps firing, even after the liking is long gone. That gap between wanting and liking is the exact system that hijacks your discipline. And it's the exact system we're going to take back. And here's the part that changes everything. Your dopamine system is not fixed. It adapts to whatever you feed it. Feed it cheap, instant hits, and your brain turns the dial down. Everything starts to feel boring, and you need more just to feel normal. But starve it of the easy stuff and make it work for rewards instead, and the dial slowly climbs back up. Hard things start to feel satisfying again. In other words, your brain is a muscle, and like any muscle, it becomes whatever you train it to be. Train it on easy dopamine, and it gets weak and restless. Train it to earn its rewards, and it gets strong, focused, and disciplined. That's the whole game. We're not going to add more willpower. We're going to retrain the system underneath it. But before we fix it, you need to see the damage. Modern life is quietly weakening your brain every single day, and it starts the second you wake up. Think about your average morning. Your eyes open. The very first thing you do is reach for your phone. Before your feet even hit the floor, your brain gets hit with messages, headlines, and 100 tiny bursts of dopamine. You've already maxed out your reward system before breakfast. So when you finally sit down to do something that matters, your brain is already overstimulated and tired. The hard task feels unbearably boring because you spent all morning teaching your brain that rewards should be instant. This is happening to almost everyone right now, and most people have no idea it's the reason they can't focus. And by the way, I'm putting together a free brain training blueprint. It walks you through this exact daily reset, step by step. It's coming to this channel very soon, so hit subscribe and you'll be the first to know the moment it's ready. Okay, now let's fix it. You've probably heard the phrase dopamine detox, and most of the versions online are nonsense. People sit in a blank room all day doing nothing, like they're punishing themselves. That's not how it works, and you don't need to be that extreme. A real dopamine detox isn't about removing all pleasure from your life. You can't actually detox from dopamine. You'd be dead. What you're really doing is resetting your baseline. You're lowering the flood of cheap stimulation so that normal, meaningful effort feels rewarding again. You're not punishing your brain, you're recalibrating it. Think of it less like starvation and more like getting back in shape after months on the couch. And here's the good news. You don't have to do it all at once. You don't have to do it forever. You just have to train it a little every day. So here are the 4 moves that actually rewire the system. Move number 1, cut the cheap hits. Look at your day. Find the 2 or 3 things that give you a big reward for almost no effort. For most people, that's social media, short videos, games, or junk food. You don't have to delete them from your life. You just have to stop letting them run on autopilot. Put the app behind an extra step. Leave the phone in another room when you work. Make the cheap dopamine slightly harder to reach. That small bit of friction does a huge amount of the work for you. Move number 2, make your brain earn its dopamine. This is the part people skip. It's not enough to remove the easy rewards. You have to attach the good feeling to a hard thing instead. So when you finish a focused block of work, let yourself feel it. Take the win. Then stack a small, genuine reward right after the effort. A walk, a coffee, a few minutes of something you enjoy, but only after the work. You're teaching your brain a new rule. The reward comes after the effort, not instead of it. Do that enough times, and your brain starts to crave the work because it knows what's coming. Here's a version you can use today. Tell yourself you can have the coffee, or the video, or the scroll, but only after 25 minutes of real work. No phone, no extra tabs, just the one task in front of you. When the timer's up, take the reward and actually enjoy it with zero guilt, because you earned it. Do that a handful of times, and the work itself starts to feel lighter, because your brain has finally connected effort and reward in the right order. Move number 3, protect your first hour. Remember how the morning phone flood wrecks your focus? Flip it. For the first hour after you wake up, keep your brain hungry. Don't feed it the scroll. Do one meaningful thing first. The workout, the writing, the studying, whatever your hard thing is, do it before you touch the cheap stuff. Your willpower and dopamine are both freshest right after you wake up. Spend that window on what matters, and the whole day tilts in your favor. And move number 4. This is the one I promised you, the one almost nobody talks about. Train your boredom. It sounds strange, but it's the secret weapon. The reason most people can't sit with hard work is simple. They've completely lost the ability to be bored. Every empty second gets filled with a screen. So start practicing boredom on purpose. Stand in line without your phone. Eat a meal without watching anything. Go for a walk with nothing in your ears. It feels uncomfortable at first, and that's the point. You're rebuilding your brain's tolerance for low stimulation, and that's exactly the muscle discipline runs on. Now, one honest warning before you start, because this is exactly where most people quit. The first 2 or 3 days can actually feel worse, not better. When you cut the cheap hits, your brain notices the drop and it complains. You'll feel restless, a little bored, maybe even irritated for no clear reason. That's not a sign it's failing. That's the sign it's working. That discomfort is your baseline resetting itself. Push through that short dip, and somewhere around day 4 or 5, something quietly clicks. The work gets easier to start. The silence stops feeling so loud. Just know the dip is coming, so it doesn't catch you off guard and talk you out of it. Now, let me make this dead simple, because I don't want you to close this video and do nothing. So here's your first 7 days. For 1 week, pick just one cheap dopamine source. Add friction to it. Just one. Protect your first hour every morning with one meaningful task before the phone. And once a day, sit with 2 minutes of boredom on purpose. No screen, no input, that's it. Don't try to overhaul your whole life overnight. That almost never sticks. You're not trying to be perfect this week. You're trying to send your brain a new signal every day until it believes you. Because remember the whole idea here. Your brain is a muscle, and you train it every day. You're not waiting to magically feel disciplined. You're doing the small reps that build it. So here's the honest truth. Discipline was never about forcing yourself harder. It was about fixing the reward system underneath, so the hard things stop feeling like a fight. Cut the cheap hits. Make your brain earn its dopamine. Protect your morning. Train your boredom. Do that, and discipline stops being something you chase. It becomes something your brain actually wants. Now, what I just gave you is one piece of a much bigger system. Discipline is only one of the 5 mental muscles you need to train. There's also focus, memory, emotional control, and recovery. I'm putting all of it together in a complete brain training guide that's coming to this channel soon. So make sure you're subscribed, because that's the one you won't want to miss. I'm Simon, reminding you that your brain is a muscle, so let's train it every day. I'll see you in the next one.